It's not a loophole. Hey, I'm Morgan Davis. I'm a health and wellness attorney based in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's talk about how to keep your business protected and thriving. This summer, Congress, spearheaded by Senator Mitch McConnell, is going after the 2018 Farm Bill loophole. The language that birthed the hemp industry that so many of us operate in, that allowed for hemp to be exempted from the Controlled Substances Act, and with it, the birth of many, many other products that we currently see in the market today. Whether it's beverages or edibles or vapes, THCA flower, Delta 8, Delta 10, THCP, whatever it may be. It all originates from the passage of the 2018 Farm Bill and the definition of hemp. A lot of times you will hear people talk about the loophole. It's not a loophole. So what is a legal loophole? A legal loophole is a provision in a statute or a regulation that is vague or ambiguous, that allows a person to take a technical omission or a different pathway around to achieve something that is legal but may not be within the intent of the original writing of the regulation. And that's what a lot of people would argue the 2018 Farm Bill is, right? That it was meant to do one thing, but it in fact created all these other products in this whole other industry that it was never meant to create. I disagree. What is the Farm Bill loophole? So in 2018, the language that was created in the Farm Bill is not ambiguous and it's not vague. It says hemp is legal as an agricultural commodity. It is like tomatoes, completely removed from the Controlled Substances Act, as long as it contains no more than 0.3% Delta 9 THC by dry weight. And it includes all isomers, all acids, all derivatives. The language is not vague. What came from it is a lot of other products that people might say, well, we didn't think that that could be created. But here's the thing, they knew CBD could be created. Everybody knew CBD was going to be the next biggest thing with the passage of the Farm Bill, right? It was already around. So my thing is if you know that you can make CBD, why would you not think you could make other things as a derivative? So I don't necessarily buy it, but maybe you don't want to take my word for it, right? So you could take the word of, I don't know, the Fourth Circuit or the Ninth Circuit, both of which in different cases have examined the language from the 2018 Farm Bill and said, it is not vague, it is not ambiguous, it is clear. And if Congress intended for these other things like Delta 8 or THCO to not be legal, then Congress should go change the language. I dislike the use of the word loophole because I think it leads to the idea that the hemp industry and those in it have found a sneaky way around the law, that we're doing something nefarious, that we, like thieves in the night, we've snuck into the Farm Bill house and stolen the chickens. That's not what happened. Most people in the hemp industry intend to be within the exact letter of the law when it comes to the Farm Bill. And their products are intended to be within the exact letter of the law when it comes to the Farm Bill. The lack of consistency at the federal level between agencies like the FDA and the DEA creates the legal gray area. The lack of consistency in the application and adoption of the Farm Bill and all the different regulations that proliferate from their individual need to regulate hemp on a state-by-state basis is what creates the legal gray area, not the Farm Bill. There is no loophole. Worse is the Close the Loophole campaign that Senator McConnell is now blazing forward with through Senate appropriations. could lead to the disastrous outcome of, well, we're saving the children by closing the loophole. That's what it goes down to, is that the nefarious hemp industry has found their way around the Farm Bill to create all of these horrible products that are killing our children. We've seen that rhetoric time and time again. And it's just not true. So let's look at what the language actually does that Senator McConnell has proposed. 1, it changes the 0.3% Delta 9 THC standard to a total THC standard, but not the total THC standard that we have talked about before, which is your Delta 9 THC plus your THCA, right? That's the Delta 9 or total THC standard that is codified in the USDA regulations, has been adopted by states like Florida. That's one total THC standard that we generally talk about. The standard that Senator McConnell's amendment proposes would take all THC isomers, natural or synthetic, plus THCA, and combine them. And those would have to come at no more than 0.3% in the product. It's a very, very, very high standard to comply with. 2, it directs the FDA, USDA, and HHS to submit a report within 180 days on implementation, labeling, packaging, testing, and market impacts. The FDA has been directed by Congress for, 7 years to regulate this industry, and they keep telling Congress, we simply don't have the ability to do so. I'm not sure that a 180-day deadline is going to change their response, but who knows, maybe. Other parts of the language. Cannabinoids that are not capable of being naturally produced by a cannabis sativa L plant are prohibited. The problem is naturally produced is undefined. And if you've been in the hemp industry for a while, the difference between semi-synthetic, synthetic, naturally derived versus naturally occurring, all of these debates are years old at this point and undecided. And there are great opinions on both sides of almost every term, and they can't agree. So now we're throwing in the term of naturally produced with no definition. It's very ambiguous. And then finally, it eliminates all products containing any quantifiable amount of THC. Quantifiable is determined by the Secretary of Health and Human Services. So even if this language were adopted tomorrow, it would require the Department of Health and Human Services to determine what quantifiable means through, we assume, a rulemaking process. Will it mean milligram caps? Will it mean any traceable amount? We don't know. So the truth of the matter is, even if Senator McConnell's language is adopted tomorrow to, quote unquote, close the loophole, 1, we won't know what it ultimately means for the industry because quantifiable isn't defined, naturally produced isn't defined. The total THC standard recommended differs from existing USDA regulations, so how are they going to reconcile those two things? Lots of questions. 2, I would put to you that what Senator McConnell has put forward as amendment is far more vague than the very clear 2018 Farm Bill's definition of hemp. It's not a loophole. Overall, what does this mean for you? Overall, it's a scary time to be in the hemp industry because we've been relying on something for the last 7 years that has opened the door to a massive industry that's multiple billions of dollars and projected to just continue to grow if allowed to proliferate, right? And we're constantly having to fight against the lack of clarity. But the problem is that the rhetoric that has been allowed to continue about this being a loophole, the rhetoric that has been allowed to continue, that has labeled the hemp industry as this nefarious industry who has no responsibility and no ability to self-police and no ability to standardize, must be shut down because there's nothing else that can be done about it at this point. And that could lead to the demise of the entire industry if we're not careful. So what do we do? One, join an organization like the U.S. Hemp Roundtable or CABA or the National Industrial Hemp Industry Association. Find a state association. Find a group that fits your needs. Join them and advocate for yourself. It's the number one thing you need to do. Number two, look at your products. Look at how you're running your business. Are you standardizing? Are you making sure that your products don't end up in the hands of kids? Are you making sure that what you're putting in your product is safe for consumers? 3, don't call it a loophole. If you need help with understanding any of this, give us a call. If you want to know what's coming moving forward, follow and subscribe, and we're going to be continuing to talk about this, I'm sure, until the end of 2025.